like I said, this is the first time we've ever done this. We've been talking about doing something like this for years, and just it's one of those things where we're just going to do it. And this is our first try. And I will say, if you guys are local and this is something you're interested in, you're kind of into science fiction fan and convention culture, we're going to do this next year. And if you're interested in volunteering and being on the organizing committee, let me know. But so the first thing I want to do, just to kind of officially inaugurate, is these 3 achievement awards that we have established. So there's this SpiralCon. Where does this name come from? My wife, Dr. Nicole Immelhines, and I, we started this independent press. We publish 2 magazines. They are free and open access digital magazines. You can get them for free PDFs. One of them is called Whetstone, and it's focused on sword and sorcery, which we're going to have a panel on that type of fantasy. That's a specific type of fantasy literature, and it comes from a pulp tradition. And the other magazine that Spiral Tower Press publishes is Witch House, which focuses on cosmic horror. And cosmic horror is the type of horror that is associated with H.P. Lovecraft. We have these 2 free and digital magazines that are small press, Spiral Tower Press publishes. There's actually a kind of a pretty active community online on a Discord that we've started associated with the press. And the idea was that eventually we would have a meetup or a book exchange or something along those lines. So this is the first attempt at that idea, right? So it's coming out of that community. Chase is a member of that community. Nicole is. Chase is actually the associate editor of Witch House. So, and one of the features of science fiction, fantasy, horror conventions are these achievement awards, right? People come together and share their love for this stuff. And also, it's an occasion to kind of celebrate people who are creating in this, studying it, and just all around, have a cultivating conversation about it. So we have these awards that we've established, the Trigon Awards, and it's first year. The reason why they're called the Trigon, 3, it's celebrating the past, the present, and the future of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. A lot of the people who are interested in Whetstone, interested in Witch House, are also literary historians or people who like older science fiction. Whetstone, believe it or not, has a lot of the people who have published in Whetstone are Robert E. Howard fans. Robert E. Howard is a pulp writer who started the sword and sorcery genre. And then, of course, cosmic horror, H.P. Lovecraft, right, is the 1920s, 1930s pulp writer. So there's this, but also people want to kind of explore new possibilities in the genre, right? So there's this, we're kind of looking backwards to the past of science fiction, fantasy, and horror history, but also looking forward to the future. So that's the concept of the Trigon Awards. Also, there's 3 categories: literary achievement, scholarly achievement, and special achievement. So, just to tell you a little bit about the awardees. So this is our very first Trigon Award. This art was by Jake Kelly, who is a gig poster artist in Cleveland, Ohio. He does he has a really interesting background. He's actually done some covers for us for our digital zines. He in the 90s was there's an area in Cleveland called Coventry Village, and there was a 90s in the early aughts. There's a lot of punk bands, a lot of very cheap entry fee, right? You have to go to Coventry Village. It feels very punk, right? And a lot of punk bands would play there, and they would want posters, right? And so part of going to Coventry Village is you see these gig posters everywhere. They usually are high contrast black and white because you're Xeroxing them for as cheap as possible from the library. Jake Kelly, this artist, he kind of turned it into art, right? But anyhow, he did the artwork for the Trigon Awards. So that's the background of the art. So literary achievement. Literary achievement goes to a writer named David C. Smith. David C. Smith has been writing sword and sorcery since he published his first sword and sorcery novel in 1979. He's been writing sword and sorcery regularly he's still writing it today. He published a sword and sorcery novel last year called Sometime Lofty Towers, which is excellent. And he's also a pulp scholar. He's written a literary biography of Robert E. Howard. So he's one of these really fascinating writers who thinks deeply about literature and also writes it. So David C. Smith. I could tell you a lot more about David C. Smith, but I don't want to bore you. If he was here, he was the guest of honor at the Robert E. Howard conference in Cross Plains, Texas, a few years ago. But I'll let him know that he won, and he's the literary achievement. And then for scholarly achievement, it goes to Bobby Deary. Bobby Deary is he started off as a blogger. He has a blog called Deep Cuts in the Lovecraftian Vein, and blog isn't the word that I would use to describe what he does. He'll write 4,000 word blog posts with scholarly citations and really unique and innovative analysis, and he'll just put it up there for free. And in the course of doing this, he's published 2 academic monographs. One is called Sex in the Cthulhu Mythos, which looks at Lovecraft's fiction from the lens of women's issues, gender issues, LGBTQ plus issues, just all around very. I'll even go so far as to like he does it for the love of it. He comes to the Robert E. Howard convention in Cross Plains, Texas, and every year he brings a limited edition book that he designs just for people who show up to the convention. He's done this 4 years in a row now, and what's really cool about these artifacts, they're once again, they're well researched, they're beautifully designed, and he just gives it to you for free, and you can't get it unless you come to the con, and it's a way of it incentivizes people to come to the convention. So he's truly a scholar, and he gets the award for scholarly achievement. And then the special achievement, it goes to a podcast called the Cromcast. And you're seeing a theme here. The Cromcast has been active since 2013. They have over 300 hours of discussion about not just, it's called the Cromcast, it's a Conan reference, right? But they don't just talk about Conan, they've talked about Gothic fiction, they've talked about obviously Lovecraft, lesser known pulp writers. And I can't say enough good things about the contributions they make to like the online pulp community. Luke is a reviews editor for the Darkman Journal of Pulp Studies. Luke is one of the podcasters. He's also an editor at Witch House. He's a reader for Whetstone. He's just someone who's very selfless and generous with his time. So, and the other 2 hosts are just. If you ever listen to their podcast, it's fun. Sometimes they're having some whiskey, but it's also really intellectually substantive. So they get the special achievement.
The music was provided by Mitch Hunt. The song is Perfect Life. It's on Spotify. Thanks for listening.